Oh, for fuck's sake. It is impossible to have a thing in my head that I wanted to say at the beginning of a broadcast, and then turn on the computer and set up the software and write all the fucking shit and all the blah 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 blah, and then like click live. Oh, and now that I'm live, remember the little clever thing that I was gonna say. So here you go. Insert clever fucking thing that I might have fucking said. Welcome to the Lost Begotten channel. Was that funny? I think it was funny. Was that funny? That was funny to me. Oh look, that was fancy. I had the image in the same place and the background changed. Oh, look at that. Oh yeah. Anyways, so welcome, boys and girls, to the Lost Begotten channel. I am your host, Fake TV's the actual, really, for true Lost Begotten. Oh look, there's my crappy graphics. Fucking trippy looking slow motion strobe light head, because apparently whatever's happened to my webcam driver, you know, because just strange things happen to your computer when you report on Russia. That's just a thing. Yeah, it's just a thing. You know, it's fake news and all. So is the koala behind my head. But I know there's a koala behind my head. I know. But, you know, the Tonberry's here because, you know, with fucking, this is all like some kind of weird fantasy where the world's ending, so, you know, why not have a Tonberry and a Moogle? But now there's a fucking koala behind my head. But anyways, that's distracting. So, I just fucking cigarette here. This is off to a banging ass start. Oh, pause it? No, I can't pause it. Because it's live. Which means all the shit that I've been wanting to talk to you about all day long, I now have to recount in real time. So maybe I should just give up on the sentence that the fucking koala interrupted. Valentine's Day present from my wife. And it made me cry. Because koala. So, yeah, anyways, my mom died. She had a koala that she had from childhood when she lived with her dad in New Zealand. Both American citizens, just lived there briefly. Anyway. Oh god, it's one tangent after another. Off to a wonderful start. I kind of had a feeling based upon how tired I was and how cold my coffee was that this video was kind of go this well. But I've got a lot on my mind. But anyways, so to get back to making fun of my webcam drivers, when you report on Russian shit, koalas, when you report on Russian shit, everything seems to go wrong with your cell phones and your computers, and oodalali, what a day. And this webcam driver here, I can configure it for a higher resolution mode that will allow me to be not all fucking like I'm at a rave or something and, you know, having way too much fun already. But every time I do, I get it looking good, then I start the broadcast, and then it goes shit brown and blurry. Like it literally looks like there's diarrhea in between me and the camera. Look at the last video. Speaking of looking at the last video, or perhaps diarrhea between me and the camera. Howdy, Sean. How's your stomach feeling? Anyway. Oh, man. So, I want to talk about plans within plans. And different things that I've discussed in passing on the videos the past couple days. And, you know, all in all, this video is kind of a plea to both locals and Russians abroad, like just everybody, anybody who would listen, anybody who tried to make this happen and now understands that this is a bad idea. I just want you to ask yourself, is this asshole worth it? Really? Like, is this asshole worth it? That's a little asshole. Also, 666. But, you know, he doesn't have every other sign of being the fucking devil or anything like that, you know. So that's probably just a coincidence. Wait, hold up. Sent by the king of the north to deceive and usurp the... Wait. He's A-okay with me. No, if this is okay with you, something's wrong with you. Okay? And what you gotta realize is that maybe that's okay. Maybe you were propagandized. Fucking maybe he was propagandized. The fact of the matter is, for all you know, 90% of the shit that you memorized and repeated your whole life, even when you thought you were right and you were doing justice by saying something, you might have been wrong. And that's what it means to be a man. That's what it means to be a grown-up. That's what it means to be wise. You can be smart, you can be clever, but it takes experience and realization, not just meditation, to become wise. Now, of all the different videos I've watched today, the last one I watched was Joe Rogan. And kind of took me aback because he seemed really hit by what he saw. Sincerely concerned. And you know, sometimes I wonder about, you know, the agendas of the people on his show, how much he's figured out, how much he hasn't. But one thing that always keeps me wondering what Joe Rogan's going to think about something when I see, because, you know, every now and again you get the suggested video from the JRE experience or whatever, right? But one thing that's always got me wondering about when his wokeness is going to result in a true awakening is that he always seems to have a real man, a wise man's, an adult's kind of skepticism about whatever he's not only hearing, but even what he's saying. Now, to me, the easiest way to figure this out about him is fighting. Okay? You reach a certain point in your skill and experience as a fighter that you come to terms with there's a, you know, just a deciding factor, skill level, power, and who's trained the best. And other than that, the deciding factor is whether or not it's right, whether or not God is on your side, in so many words. And when somebody gets to a point where they truly appreciate, on at least a basic level, the difference between right and wrong, and they've come to terms with not having anything to prove themselves anymore. They know what they can do, what they can't do. They're grown-ass men. They don't get bullshitted that easy. Joe Rogan doesn't seem like he gets bullshitted that easy. But what makes me wonder, why has he got so many bullshitters on his program? You know? Anyways. So, yeah, I know. Not too fascinating of a subject. But I would personally like to have a conversation with him. Obviously, because he's got a very large following. And he's he's got concern. You can tell it's there. But I think to some extent he's failed to realize the responsibility that he has because of the audience that he's gained. And while that responsibility wasn't even necessarily there 4 years ago, the time has come to step up and protect your country, Mr. Joe Rogan. The time has come to talk of other things. And, you know, it's a similar situation, surprisingly as it's going to sound, to which Benjamin Netanyahu finds himself. Oh, I know, completely unrelated circumstances, but yet Benjamin Netanyahu's being indicted. Oh, they're trying to take down old Bibi. And in many ways, he does deserve it. In many ways, he has gone a whoring after Babel. And I don't mean the United States. I mean the actual nation of the North with many waters. And you know, even Trump could salvage his own presidency, but it won't be by saying that the real collusion was with Hillary Clinton and the uranium thing. You know, let me just check and see if that's gone anywhere. I think I have a graphic for that. Is the uranium story sticking to Hillary Clinton? Oh no, it doesn't appear so. Yeah, it looks like it's just kind of just not working. And I've said it once before, and I'll say it again. Compared to Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton seems like fucking Rambo now. Like, oh my goodness. What a patriot. But really, she, somebody who worked in her department, again, actually a career official, signed off on something that the Bush administration initiated that had been going on for decades. Our industry, actually our strategic industrial policy, was to integrate with Russia financially and at a corporate level to prevent future wars. Now, the problem went in when Putin The problem arose when Putin went in and, basically seized companies and assigned oligarchs and that kind of shit. Oh god, what's his face? Jeez, now I got like a dozen different Russian names in my head. The guy that was assassinated and the rich guy that Bill Browder. Yeah, Bill Browder's told all about it. William Browder. But anyways. Speaking of financial ties, more and more of these financial ties are coming through regarding different people that members of the Trump administration met with and have had dealings with, and Trump and his family have had dealings with. Oh, it's getting hard to track just how many different connections there are. It's gotten to the point where they say no collusion, and it's just like, but there's just a mind-numbing amount of collusion. And also, a thing of note, the whole conspiracy against the United States charge, as well as the, what was it? Conspiracy to defraud the United States. People like Alex Jones, Sean Hannity, Janine Pirro, they should be really worried. Their private communications, their financial records, they've all been looked into already. They have been. Well, don't kid yourself, folks. This is looking more and more like I prematurely issued my retraction. It was a premature ejaculation, or I don't know, retraction. It was a premature retraction. There's almost a dirty joke there, but not quite. Not shadow government, folks. Not deep state. But sting operation? In a way. Yeah, this is turning out to be quite the sting operation. These rats have had their tails pinned for quite some time. And what this is about is more about allowing the traitors to expose themselves, but also it's a slow education of the American people onto what actually happened to them and why. And while that's promising, there's just always the forces of bullshit fighting back. This would be so much easier if I had, like, one of those techie co-host people that, like, reads stuff and puts stuff on the screen for you to keep track of what you're saying and makes shit more interesting. That'd be so great. I don't need to gather my thoughts, I need to fucking grab a cigarette. This channel is slowly killing me. No, I'm just kidding. I smoke like a fucking chimney, just out of nervous habit. Because I have been diagnosed with hypertension. And that's always fun, isn't it? I think I've actually been having what could maybe be classified medically as a conniption fit for the past 2 years. I go from people basically just holding their ears and singing la la la. Oh, the shit had gone red. Yeah, I was trying to get the little blocker off of there. Anyways, in the past 2 years, I have gone from reaching out to both friends and former co-workers and other channels on YouTube and trying to find Facebook groups that weren't controlled by Russia. Oh yeah, like just different philosophy pages. You just have no idea how much shit they just get into just so they can influence it. Everything. Everything. I know how fucking stupid that sounds. I know that sounds crazy. And I wish, first of all, that it wasn't happening. But second of all, that I didn't have to be the one to fucking tell people, because I gotta be the one that sounds fucking crazy. And 2 years ago, when I said that Russians were gonna fucking basically stage a coup in this country, people thought I was crazy. When I said that Republicans, I said 2 years ago, and 2 years consistently before that, that Republicans in this country were quoting Russian propaganda. And as soon as Donald Trump came along quoting all the fucking Russian propaganda in the world, I'm like, oh look, there's our fucking spy. And guess what? All that shit I said about fake fucking agents, fake fucking people on YouTube pretend to be Americans. That's not in the indictment, is it? The indictment doesn't cover a few things, but it makes cases on the same lines in other areas. Fake Americans posing as political activists on other platforms. While I think we all know that the biggest place to find them is here. And there's a lot about these indictments that would be seen as revealing sources and methods, but are actually I don't want to say telegraphed punches, but they're going to smoke the monster out. All they needed was a lizard with a ladder. Oh, do we have a picture of the lizard with a ladder that we can put up? Graphics guy, also known as my right hand with the mouse. Oh, I think we do. Hold on just 1 second there. We have a picture of the lizard with the ladder somewhere around here. And of course it's taking too long. Alright, one more try. I didn't know how much I loved you. Brian Adams. One more try. Oh, I remember in like 1980, something, maybe 91. My sister, I don't even remember which sister, calling up the radio station because her boyfriend broke up with her, and she requested that they play Bryan Adams' One More Try, and they did. They played Bryan Adams' One More Try, so her boyfriend would give them just one more try. What am I doing? I'm looking for an image thing. I just thought that was a charming little story. It cracks me up. Oh look, there he is! I found the lizard with the ladder. Ladies and gentlemen, the lizard with the ladder. We'll smoke the monster out. Now, as for the cell phone strangler of East Dublin, we can only speculate as to how much he knew and how much he's been telling. But there's one thing we can know for sure. He really does not like cell phones. Little lizard boy there kind of creeps me out there. Like, try as I might, I can't make that face where I look dead inside, you know, like. Like, I can stay up for days. Guys my age. You know, there was a particular species of pig that lived north of the shores of Galilee. There were a lot of them. They had an odor. They were called Muscavium. But, you know, for me to finish that story, I'd have to tell you that the movie Willow had more to do with reality than your history books. But then, you probably had a feeling that was true when you were a kid and saw it for the first time. Instinct. Never underestimate the power of a stuffed koala. It's funny. When your kids are little, they get the stuffed animals. When your kids get older, you start to get stuffed animals. My mom had a fucking teddy bear collection. I wonder what... Oh. Katrina. I was thinking this koala, the real one that she had, it was made a kangaroo skin, which is, you know, horrific sounding if you live in America, but, you know, it's like deer skin and only like... If deer had like 100 times the population and just would roam through a shopping mall parking lot, okay, that's how kangaroos are in Australia. And that, and I think her whole freaking teddy bear collection, along with so much other stuff, a lifetime of priceless antique collecting. Like mostly driving around the South and going to salvage auctions and garage sales and stuff like that, and just finding really rare collectible stuff. All lost in Hurricane Katrina when she got 14 feet of water in her house. And now I can't look at a freaking koala without thinking about all that. Which sucks, because I really like koalas. I used to live in Australia when I was a kid. You know, koalas are a thing for me. You know, I got a thing for koalas. I almost just went rare, but then like, wait, that's not the sound the koalas make. What sound does a koala make? Furthermore, what sound does a koala make when they get excited? Does any human know? And if they know, why do they know? Okay. Anyway. These are the jokes, folks. These are the jokes. I wonder how much of what I thought about earlier today that I wanted to talk about I'm actually going to accomplish on this video. Let's check in with special correspondent Alex Jones and see if he's got anything to say about it. That level was an inside job. Okay. That was bizarre. Every time I see that guy's face, I just wonder if that guy has seen his face. Okay. That was Alex Jones, right? Right. Oh, that's definitely Alex Jones. You're fake news. Okay. Anyways. Yes. Alex Jones. A lot like Benjamin Netanyahu. A lot like Trump. All of these people. It was prophesied in the end times, when I should return, that they should repent, for the end was at hand. It'll all be over soon. And they could save the world. They could save America. They could really help us understand why we're all so mind-fucked. And all they have to do is repent. See, now, opinions are like assholes, and theories are a dime a dozen. But when someone who isn't an online personality, for instance, a guy on YouTube with Windows 95 graphics, putting together theories, no matter how logical they sound, no matter how much evidence I could bring to bear about the connections between many things, nothing could snap the world to attention other than acknowledging my return, like repentance. Repent, or judgment day will come. And in that day, the Lord's wrath will be felt. See, and this is why I don't plan out videos, because I wouldn't have planned out to say something weird like that. I just say, you know, God, if you wanted me to plan out a video, you'd give me the time and capability to fucking do it. So, since I don't have the time and capability to do anything but just film and wing it, I'm going to do like I've always done every time I talk to a Wiccan, every time I talk to a Satanist, every time I talk to anybody who is in rebellion, in doubt, or just plain hurting and in need. I pray to God for the wisdom to speak the words that He wants me to speak. And occasionally I write notes, and then I forget about them. And they sit over here and collect cigarette ashes and coffee stains and stuff like that. These notes. Oh, this is, this is worth bringing up, though. How hacking voter registration rolls effectively overturn the U.S. election. Identity theft. Okay, so not only did you have the usual Republican suppression of minority areas, but you had many reports of people going and being told that they had already voted. Now, is this difficult for anyone to figure out? I do not think it is difficult to figure out. It just takes a basic level of skepticism, one that I think most people don't have. Because like I said, we've all been mind clouded. We've all been made blind. You steal the voter registration rolls. You then hire identity thieves. And you go and fucking vote. They had Russian immigrants and just local criminals hired. Russian nationals, I guess you call them. Russian agents. I mean, that's really what they were, weren't they? Russian agents posing as American citizens, voting in our elections. With the level of influence they had, and with the targets that they hacked, including the DNC, including local registration rolls in 21 states, including Equifax, including Google. Hello? All those things happened before the fucking election. They didn't need to hack into the voting machines and overturn anything. And we don't need to look for that to prove that they've done something. The fact of the matter is, we hardly have the gumption to investigate effectively. We hardly have the capability, let alone the gumption, to effectively investigate what happened. We don't have fucking ballot stubs. So the only recourse we would have is if those people who claimed, I hadn't voted yet, somebody stole my vote, if those people were all accounted for. and then still that there's no way to get enough of a comparative role to see whether or not their vote shows what was actually voted for in the machines. This is a ridiculous situation. Donald Trump should have never been allowed to set foot in the White House. He's a traitor of more catastrophic and unbelievable proportions than I think most people in the FBI even know. This guy, Nikolas Cruz. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else on there. I read like the first 2 sentences. Yeah, pretty much covered that. So this guy, Nikolas Cruz, I really wish I had a way that I could search through my comments and figure out where the hell it was he trolled me. But I remember he said something fucking creepy, and I remember reporting him. We reported him on Facebook and reported him to the FBI. And I even bitched about fucking Facebook. Facebook wasn't gonna fucking do anything. And then gave them another update on what I thought Facebook was up to back then. That was like 2 years ago. This fucking guy, Nikolas Cruz, with his fucking bandana. It was right when Trump, right before the election, actually, yeah. Cause he had his fucking red hat on. I remember seeing it as soon as I was like, oh look, I thought he was a Russian, actually. I thought he was a Russian troll. I thought he was just another fucking fake American. Turns out it's just a highly propagandized person. But I have a vague memory. I'm like only 20% certain about this, but like if anybody has the fucking ability to like go on Twitter and actually search for this kind of shit, I think he's like been retweeted by Trump. Like this is an active online political activist, a pro-Trump troll basically. And Nikolas Cruz, huh? Who the fuck are his parents? Like where were they from, you know? And when are we going to talk about how this right-wing propaganda that Russia is promoting in this country is effectively causing psychosis? It instigated this, to say the least. And, well, let's just play out the timeline, shall we? Every single time since Trump took office that there's been any sort of major indictment or action on the part of the Mueller team, there has been another terrorist incident. There has been another mass shooting. There's been a lot of different media bombshells. The New York Times reports this and that. Okay. But when something actually happens, suddenly there's a convenient fucking distraction, isn't there? Every single time. And guess who's not reporting on it? Calling it a false flag. Trump's buddy. Mr. 9/11 was an inside job. Well, this little Trumpist that could take lives, we need to have a nationwide conversation, not about guns and gun control, but about psychological warfare. Because this thing that we've allowed to occupy the Oval Office, he's been an instrument of psychological warfare against the United States for a very long time. The very idea that we allowed him in the White House, let alone to occupy it, as a conquering dictator, occupying it. It has permanently defaced this country. We will literally never recover the image we once had. Another Obama won't even fucking cut it. We'd have to elect the baby Jesus. And I don't think he's interested. Reluctantly willing if you're very lucky. But certainly not interested. Anyways. So, Mr. Conway, thank you for sending me those videos and messages. I do actually get them. Although I wind up seeing them and pressing clear before I realize what I just saw, then I have to remember it. Yeah, how hard that is. But when I see you send me a message, I read that. And he says that there is a very similar situation as to what's going on here, not only just in the UK with Brexit and all, but particularly in Ireland, where, by the way, just a little historic context, the Soviet Union used to supply the Irish Republican Army through Muammar Gaddafi. Libya, Benghazi. Muammar Gaddafi was basically a Soviet weapon smuggler. None of those terrorist organizations would be what they are today without him. But according to some people, it was a big mistake to take him down. If Vladimir Putin has such a problem with terrorists, he should probably stop supporting them. But I don't think he has a problem with terrorists. Because he doesn't only support them, he supports propagandists that say the terrorism is actually the CIA's doing. So it's horribly hard or difficult is trying to get to what the hell Sean told me after the fact. There we go, I found it. Some news on Northern Ireland. Something dodgy going on there. Basically, the pro-UK unionist leader, Arlene Foster, was involved in a few suspicious incidents involving government money and fraud. And she caused the collapse of power sharing agreement by refusing to step down while the investigation was taking place. The government is still shut down and under the direct rule of London. She refuses to compromise and make a deal with the other party, Sinn Féin. She was in favor of Brexit, and Nigel Farage seems to like her. Just seems like a pattern he sees elsewhere. You don't say. Alright, get to that under what? I love how YouTube has been the only company in history to make their apps harder and harder to use. Have you noticed that? Anybody? Anybody else notice that? Anyways, so just about everywhere that the Soviet Union sold weapons to or was trying to gain its territory is now having either massive terrorist outbreaks or separatist movements. But the Republicans are playing defense for them? That's weird. I think a lot of people are going to jail. A lot of people. And I really don't think media pundits are off limits. I don't think that YouTubers are off limits. I don't think the creative director of YouTube is off limits. And in fact, I would go so far as to say, if the creator of YouTube has made any foreign calls, they've been scrutinized. I mean, look guys, for years, I have been saying there must be some kind of Belgian communist agent, Russian agent in Belgium. Listed some possibilities besides that. Working for YouTube, who has steadily changed the creative content rules as well as the ad rules, monetization rules, even the recommended algorithm type stuff. Somebody, and I said they could be high up, there must be somebody in YouTube that fits this profile who would have been sent by Russia or somehow compromised. There's got to be at least one Russian agent working for Russia, working at YouTube, causing all of this. I mean, the pattern is there. The effect is there. When the effect is there, there must be a cause. But I had no idea. The crook at the helm of this pirate ship would be so obvious. And if I were him, I'd be heading to a fucking private island somewhere. I'm talking about this guy. I just saw him for the first time. Interviewed by Casey Neistat. And, Sean, if you would please post the link to that in the comments after the video, after this post, if you can, find the time, if you don't mind, sir. Because that interview, let's just say, if an FBI agent saw that interview, he's probably going to jail. That's how telling that interview was. And what an accent, man. What an accent. I think the thing that pissed me off the most was that for some reason couldn't find anything else on that guy. He is very ghostly. Almost as if he's scrubbed by Google, isn't he? There's going to be more people than him going to jail. But of course, the smart ones will repent. Should have listened to me a long time ago. How could you not believe I was magical? I have a Moogle. Surely this man is a prophet. He has a stuffed animal from Final Fantasy. I don't know if you've noticed this little pattern in history, but false prophets don't use a lot of self-deprecating humor. They're not aware of how silly they must sound to people who are of lesser sight. Because false prophets, as I said 3 years ago on this channel, including cult leaders and people claiming to be Jesus Christ, who are not. They've always been sent by the kingdom of Nod, which you call the Russian Federation. What a world. So anyways, Trump. He's visited the hospital in Florida after the shooting there. And I'm afraid that little stunt was overshadowed by his own tweets. Now, you see, I kind of did a little bit of a test of reality. I don't know if I mentioned it on the channel. I might have just been talking about it while I was racing. Just back up. Well, this connection between Trump and this Nikolas Cruz character, I think he was activated somehow. I think he was told that he would be provided an exit. Okay, the same way any fucking assassin is told that they will be provided an exit. I knew as soon as this started happening that he wasn't going to die. And then he didn't die. And then I knew as soon as Lavrov had come out that evening and called, or the evening that the indictments came out. Okay, as soon as Lavrov had, the evening the indictments came out, called those indictments, bullshit or whatever he said, I knew then that Trump was going to, because he is implicit in this, change his tone and attack the FBI. Like, I basically played this all out. He's going to fucking make the mistake of attacking the FBI because Russia's basically told him to, okay? He's going to attack the FBI regarding this fucking school shooting thing. I was just gaming it out in my head. I don't know if I said it while I was doing the game stream. And then he comes out and basically says that the fucking school shooting happened because the FBI was too busy investigating Russia. The school shooting happened because the FBI is distracted because he's a traitor. That's what he said. That's not why the fucking... They visited his house 30 fucking times. Local law enforcement. The FBI contacted local law enforcement about the guy after being contacted. The FBI didn't drop the ball on this. Policy is the problem here. I got koala eyes sticking right over my head. That's like distracting me. But seriously, policy is the problem here. Now, I laid out a truly bipartisan three-part plan of stop abandoning expelled kids, okay, as a priority in this country. Have a select group of children with extra training to help guide a situation like this once it occurs, and we need specialized equipment to protect schools, including metal detectors, but also a new type of door barricade that also acts as like a fire alarm that can be broken, and have those kids trained on it. Okay, those aren't political. Those are just things that can save lives. Those are just things that'll make sense and make things better. But as far as policy goes, we've had Russian shadow money pouring in to the NRA. Now, I said that was the case 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I determined this based on the pattern of propaganda. Okay? It's really just simple. And everyone from Jon Stewart to William F. Buckley have been confounded by this for years. Had been. At a certain point, you can determine when a policy just doesn't make sense, when a political standpoint just doesn't make sense, when a talking point is actually self-destructive, when something that someone thinks will benefit their party is actually destructive to the entire country. The Republican Party platform has essentially become what Russia wants it to be in order to help destroy America. Is that because Republicans are all fucking stupid? No. It's because they've been propagandized by a foreign government. They've been infiltrated by foreign powers, by foreign agents. And you know, the same thing happened to the Democrats. It was called communism. Well, the Republicans are really naive to think that the same level of infiltration that they thought was basically infesting the Democratic Party in order to destroy the United States hasn't been tainting their own house. The fact of the matter is, Russia and the Soviet Union have been supporting neo-fascist movements all over the world for over 100 years. Now, do we think that the neo-fascist movements in this country are just somehow immune? Oh no, they're the pure ones. They're the natural grassroots type. No. I couldn't click with a fucking small group of skinheads in Houston when I was 9 and 10 years old without hearing about this fucking thing called Operation Novorossiya. And I rolled the R in operation for no reason, but still, Operation Novorossiya, okay? And we knew phrases like "ich not niet," okay. That's South African, okay. You know where Elon Musk is from, the other Russian agent that America seems to worship. A lot of shills on here from there too. But the Russian propaganda will tell you that's where like Nazis hid and stuff, so there couldn't be Russians there. Germany hadn't been Germany for a long time before the Nazis took over. And German colonies hadn't been German colonies either. Because Germany made a lot of the same mistakes. Well, let's say the liberals or the Democrats were accused of making in this country. Civil rights, that kind of thing. That was all happening in Germany. And the Nazi takeover was actually kind of like the Trump takeover. It was the right-wing pushback, not against the election of a black president, but of allowing black representatives in the Bundesstaat. And the reason why was because Germany had a lot of island colonies, and there was a sort of a German home rule parliament. I believe that was the Reichstag, and then they had the kind of like you have like you would have a government for just Britain or just England, and then you have a government for England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, right? So you'd have one government for Germany, and then you have one government for Greater Germany, all the different colonies, including South Africa. And what caused the big right-wing backlash was allowing natives, locals of any race, and most of them were dark-skinned, to have full representation in the Bundesstaat. Or was it the Reichstag? I might have them flipped. I'm not really fucking familiar with the structure of the German government at the time. I know what happened to them, and I know how it used to be there. And then I did some research, and I found some little facts that made sense of it all. And that's one of them. Was that the islanders were given representation in their parliament, basically. And the Nazi Party suddenly got a bunch of funding after the local Communist Party denounced Stalin. Interesting little tidbits, isn't it? The difference between America and Germany isn't any difference between Trump and Hitler, though. Trump is so much like Hitler in every way. More ways than most people even can imagine. But America is a much stronger country than Germany was, especially at the time. And our institutions are holding up surprisingly strong. And I think the flag of "Don't Tread on Me" is going to wave again. So let me just, before I end on that bombshell, go through my news history. Once I pick up a working controller. That's better. Okay, so, on the day that the Florida shooting happened, there was also a shooting at the NSA headquarters. Apparently, some guys dressed in wigs tried to break in there, like force their way in. Struck a guard with their vehicle, and the vehicle was fired upon, and then they crashed into a barricade trying to exit. They had already rammed through a barricade entering. So that's messed up. Also, there was another shooting in New Orleans. So, yeah. Big day for that kind of shit. Mark Zuckerberg's wife just happens to be daughter of Chinese immigrants. Nothing wrong with being Chinese or a Chinese immigrant. But when you're suspected in every other way of being a communist agent, or Chinese, or Russian horde agent, and you just happen to have a Chinese wife? Okay. Is he friends with Rupert Murdoch? Oh. Hey, look. Oh, come on. No, don't look at that. There.
While people waved Kosovan, Albanian and American flags to celebrate statehood.
Now, show the Janissaries. Look, fucking Janissaries.
Musicians took part.
Janissaries.
Hundreds of people took to the streets of Kosovo on Saturday.
Janissaries. Oh God, it's like they're taunting me. Oh. I have PTSD from shit that happened in previous lives. Okay. I have the overwhelming urge to grab a sword. Perhaps a cannon or two. AFP's posting all kinds of weird shit about the voices of Brexit. North Korean girls are creepy. Nancy Kerrigan got gypped. I don't know if y'all realize that. She got gypped. Democratic lawmaker calls Trump a psychopath. Let's see here. What's the definition of a psychopath? Lacks human empathy, out of touch with reality, takes delight in the harm of others. Yeah, Trump's a psychopath. Well, let me just show how much of a psychopath Trump actually is here for a second. Just for a second, I want to show how much of a psychopath Trump is.
Now, just a few moments ago, Donald Trump passed through here, so we had a minute to talk with him. Let's roll that tape and see what he had to say.
I've seen two huge 110-story buildings that are reduced to rubble. Thousands and thousands of lives. I just got to see something that I've never seen before. Thousands and thousands of lives. I just got to see something that I've never seen before. I have hundreds of men inside working. I just got to see something that I've never seen before.
He just got to see something? As if it were a fucking show put on for his pleasure? He just got to see something he's never seen before? Oh, but you know that he couldn't have been involved in it because he's best friends with that. Oh, good job. Oh, good job. But for Donald Trump to have been the guy who paid the people to dress up in FEMA uniforms to plant the explosives, he would have had to have had hundreds of people on the ground.
I have hundreds of men inside working right now, and we'll bring...
Yeah, I saw that interview before I knew what he was going to say. I just thought it'd be clever if I... Clever. Probably not wise. Because now this video is going to go orange. It'll probably get flagged. I wonder if my live stream will be revoked. Because I said something that's probably fucking true. The fact of the matter is, Silverstein didn't have the history as a real estate tycoon to have acquired Trump Tower. The Twin Towers. The person who would have acquired the 10 towers would have to view real estate sort of like a monopoly game. Once that bragging rights location, once that place where he can feel in control, the seat of lordship over the commoners. And Trump will tell you, or Trump told several cameras, that Larry Silverstein was his best friend. Now see, that's Truth or TV. That's a Russian-backed channel. 9/11 Time for Truth, that's a Russian-backed channel. 9/11 Truth Now, that's a Russian-backed channel. Okay? And then here's Alex Jones. The Alex Jones channel. Talking about this interview here. This interview is for German TV.
Wir müssen erst natürlich das Leben retten und diese ganzen Aufräumarbeiten vonstatten bringen und dann
German.
gleich beginnen, wieder aufzubauen. Ja.
Okay? German. Alex Jones, after I first report the connection between Donald Trump and 9/11, Alex Jones doesn't show the whole interview. And here's why.
In the city.
Oh, god damn it. I just did that, YouTube. Can you not make your fucking interface harder and harder to use?
In New York City, the date is Fox Television affiliate in New York City.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
WWOR, Fox Television affiliate in New York City. The date is 9/11/2001. Donald Trump in
WWOR, Fox affiliate in New York City. Okay, that's according to Alex Jones. And again, there's the icon. You see the guy in the blue shirt? Make that a little bigger, just make sure everybody can see it. He doesn't actually play the interview. Nobody wants to fucking hear you, fucking big ass fucking mouth fly. Okay, now I can't forward to the video? Really? Oh, fuck you. And here's our local Fox News affiliate.
Aufzubauen. Vielen Dank, Mr. Trump. Thanks a lot. Ja, danke.
Ja, soweit Stefan Bachenmeier. Wir haben das eben in dem Gespräch gehört und das hörte man auch schon in den vergangenen 2 Tagen.
Back to you, Sean. or Billow, or whoever's working there still. And of course, during the election, Donald Trump even did interviews with Alex Jones on InfoWars. It's amazing. He just happened to secretly own the building. Russia happened to secretly be behind Al-Qaeda. And Russia also happened to be secretly behind Alex Jones, who wanted you to think that the United States government was secretly behind everything, including Al-Qaeda. But you see, the CIA didn't create the fucking Taliban. I don't know if you realize this, but the Taliban was never assisted by the CIA in any ways. The Taliban, Osama bin Laden, no, none of that. He was in fucking Saudi Arabia at the time, and we weren't assisting the Taliban. The Taliban actually killed all the fucking people that we were assisting. They were the counter coup that Russia sponsored after we caused the coup that kicked the Russians out. You'd think the Russians just packed up their shit and went home and just sat on the border and said, the Americans won. No. I know it's surprising, isn't it? It's shocking that your mind was told to work in a way that doesn't make any fucking sense. That's because you've been brainwashed. So no, let's say it together, boys and girls. The Taliban was never assisted by the CIA. The Taliban was in fact assisted by guess who? Guess who? Russia. And in fact, even after 9/11, even, while they're supposed to be helping with the war on terror, actually sending fucking people in to, fight it. But they're supposed to be with the war on terror, right? So why would they possibly be helping the Taliban? Why would they do anything like that? But, turns out they were. And, in fact, in Afghanistan, helping the Taliban were Russian troops from Uzbekistan and Dagestan. I had a picture of them that was going to be handy to show you, but I think I've shown that shit on enough videos in the past, huh? Let's see, there's a Chechen, and some more Chechens, some more Chechens, and some more Chechens, and some more Chechens, and there's a Chechen up close, there's a Chechen far away, and there's like a line of Chechens with RPGs. And there's the guy that's friends with Putin who commands all the Chechens, even though he used to be in rebellion against Putin. That makes like a lot of sense. Almost as much sense as our great, Russian protectors against the Islamic hordes, building that right in the middle of their capital city, and more Chechens. Those are Russian-speaking Muslims, by the way, Chechens. Now, where's my little picture from Afghanistan? Apparently that's not in this folder. But we got more Chechens, and some more Chechens, and some Chechens blowing up a base or a prison in Syria. And, I'm not speculating here. This is fucking Chechens claiming to be Chechens because the spirit of pride was defeated, and, when the demon master of a Satanist cult is actually serving God because he's been defeated, they start making blatant mistakes. And I told you this would happen before, long before it happened, and then it went and happened. And by telling people, I mean on Facebook in the Support Ukraine group, which I was doing before I came here on YouTube. Note the date, 2014. Chechen HD GoPro Syrian combat. Okay, it's literally video of Russian mercenaries posing as Islamic State. That's literally what it is. That is what it is. And that's all. Everything you're looking at there. It's supposed to be Islamic State, but it's actually Russian mercenaries. Okay, so you got a problem with that? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Oh, I just asked on myself. Too many damn connections. Connection between Russia and terrorism, connection between Donald Trump and Russia, connection between Donald Trump and the Trade Center, connection between Donald Trump and Alex Jones. Oh, but Alex Jones, they're going to protect you from the Muslims by blaming it on the Zionists. Oh God, that hurts my head so bad. Oh God, that's it. So they're going to protect you from the Muslims by being anti-Semitic. What? See, you can't be these two different types of racist at the same time. It does not fucking make sense. Okay? I mean, either one makes you an asshole, but at least you're like a logical fucker, you know? But if you hate Muslims and you hate Jews, who do you want to win? Because you have to realize at some point, if you're being anti-Semitic, you could just be participating in Muslim propaganda. If you're being anti-Muslim, you could just be an agent of Jew America. Judge not, lest ye be judged yourselves. But what would I know? I'm just a Galilean. Who's lost his PlayStation controller? I've lost both. There it is. I've found my PlayStation controller. Okay, so anyways. You know, I dated a girl in high school who I never realized until earlier today looked just like Nancy Kerrigan. Well, like a little prettier, but... I mean, Nancy Kerrigan's pretty, but like seriously, this girl in high school, like I could damn near mistake them for each other. Like that's how much they look alike. The eyes and the cheekbones and the eyebrows and everything. Oh, decent little report by CNN tracking Putin's shadow army. Very sad. My condolences go out to the Russian people who are affected by this. Again, I have no ill will towards any normal human beings on this earth. I don't care what country you're from. You were born there and you're stuck there, and I understand that just because I was born here and I'm stuck here. But the difference is whether or not you choose to do what you can in your country to make the world a better place. It seems to me that those who have been caught up in the GRU and FSB have been inducted into an army that will send the world to hell. And that's something any free-thinking person should try to resist. Did y'all see that shit at the beginning? Speaking of resistance, did y'all see that bullshit at the beginning? Alex Jones, you're the real resistance, or whatever. Oh, God. Howard Dean says Devin Nunes and people like him belong in jail. Didn't he go to Harvard Law School? Now let's see here. I like this. Y'all can see all the different shit that I watch over the course of the day. Yeah, NASCAR crashes. I just felt like laughing about the He Went to Jared commercials. You ever notice since Jared Kushner's been in the spotlight, you haven't seen a single fucking He Went to Jared Diamond commercial? Of course, I had my daily dose of internet. That's just a fun little channel. Addendum. Not quite a retraction, but addendum. Jill Stein. Obviously, you know, anybody who remembers how we were reacting during the election, we were fucking panicked. And Jill Stein was really willing to call for a recount. But, she did more to help cover the problem by being selective about what was focused on. Basically, she pulled a fucking hoax of a recount on us. And while it made sense, the fact of the matter is, the 5%, that was the local hacking, not the Russian hacking. See, there's a difference there. There's the innate programmed bullshit that the Diebold machines naturally fucking, well, not naturally, that they're programmed to do, which is 1 out of 6 straight Democrat ballots winds up casting a vote for the Republican presidential candidate. That error, supposed error in the program code, was found in 2002 and has never been fixed. To the best of my knowledge, it has never been fixed. And that right there could account for the discrepancy that they were talking about, the mathematical discrepancy. But anyways, the reason why, in retrospect, I think her efforts were questionable is because she is a lot more interested in the Kremlin talking points that the Republicans have been repeating than Bernie Sanders seems to be. And in fact, Bernie Sanders is seeming rather reflective and reasonable these days. Jill Stein? Not so much. Now, here's another thing of note.
Involving domestic audiences with...
I just want you to look, when Rosenstein comes out, how happy he looks.
Good afternoon. And Grant...
That's not just like smiling to relax the room. Okay. Look. Let me see if I can... Since my computer's been behaving, let me see if I can test my limits here. No. We're just going to leave it like that. I'm going to play it again.
Good afternoon. A grand jury in the District of Columbia today returned an indictment presented by the Special Counsel's Office. The indictment charges 13 Russian nationals and
and 3 Russian companies for committing federal crimes while seeking to interfere
I can play this. There's
in the
no
United
copyright on
States
this.
political system, including the 2016 presidential
The
election.
volume gets lower and lower every time I
Defendants
play it.
allegedly conducted what they called information warfare against the United States, with the stated goal of spreading distrust towards the candidates and the political system in general. According to the allegations in the indictment, 12 of the individual defendants worked at various times for a company called Internet Research Agency, LLC, a Russian company based in St. Petersburg. The other individual defendant, Yevgeny Viktorovich Rogan, funded the conspiracy through companies known as Concord Management and Consulting, LLC, Concord Catering, and many affiliates and subsidiaries. The conspiracy was part of a larger operation called Project Lakta. Project Lakta included multiple components, some involving domestic audiences within the Russian Federation, and others targeting foreign audiences in multiple countries.
Google Plus.
Internet Research Agency allegedly operated through Russian shell companies. It employed hundreds of people, ranging from creators of fictitious personas to technical and administrative support personnel, with an annual budget of millions of dollars. Internet Research Agency was a structured organization headed by a management group and arranged into departments, including graphics, search engine optimization, information technology, and finance departments. In 2014, the company established a translator project focused on the United States. In July of 2016, more than 80 employees were assigned to the translator project. 2 of the defendants allegedly traveled to the United States in 2014 to collect intelligence for their American influence operations. In order to hide the Russian origins of their activities, the defendants allegedly purchased space on computer servers located here in the United States in order to set up a virtual private network. The defendants allegedly used that infrastructure to establish hundreds of accounts on social media networks such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, making it appear that those accounts were controlled by persons located in the United States. They used stolen or fictitious American identities, fraudulent bank accounts, and false identification documents. The defendants posed as politically and socially active Americans, advocating for and against particular candidates. They established social media pages and groups to communicate with unwitting Americans. They also purchased political advertisements on social media networks. The Russians also recruited and paid real Americans to engage in political activities, promote political campaigns, and stage political rallies. The defendants and their
Notice he didn't say that those Americans were unwitting.
co-conspirators pretended to be grassroots activists. According to the indictment, the Americans did not know that they were communicating with Russians. After the election, the defendants allegedly staged rallies to support the president-elect, while simultaneously staging rallies to protest his election. For example,
Careful
the
word.
defendants organized one rally to support the president-elect and another rally to oppose him, both in New York on the same day. On September 13th of 2017, soon after the news media reported that the special counsel's office was investigating evidence that Russian operatives had used social media to interfere with the 2016 election, one defendant allegedly wrote, quote, "We had a slight crisis here at work. The FBI busted our activity. So I got preoccupied with covering tracks together with my colleagues." End quote. The indictment includes 8 criminal counts. Count 1 alleges a criminal conspiracy to defraud the United States by all of the defendants. The defendants allegedly conspired to defraud America by impairing the lawful functions of the Federal Election Commission, the United States Department of Justice, and the Department of State. Those organizations of the U.S. government are responsible for administering federal requirements for disclosure of foreign involvement in certain domestic activities. Count 2 charges conspiracy to commit wire fraud and bank fraud by Internet Research Agency and 2 of the individual defendants. Counts 3 through 8 charge aggravated identity theft by Internet Research Agency and 4 individuals. Now, there is no allegation in this indictment that any American was a knowing participant in this illegal activity. There is no allegation in the indictment that the charged conduct altered the outcome of the 2016 election. I want to caution you that everyone charged with a crime is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in court. At trial, prosecutors must introduce credible evidence that is sufficient to prove each defendant guilty beyond any reasonable doubt to a unanimous jury.
Because this isn't Russia.
The special counsel's investigation is ongoing. There will be no comments from the special counsel at this time. This indictment serves as a reminder that people are not always who they appear to be on the indictment. The indictment alleges that the Russian conspirators want to promote discord in the United States and undermine public confidence in democracy. We must not allow them to succeed. The Department of Justice will continue to work cooperatively with other law enforcement and intelligence agencies and with the Congress to defend our nation against similar current and future.
Nobody's going to have confidence in a fucking democracy when you got somebody occupying the White House that got 3 million votes less than their opponent, with Russia's help. That's just a random person saying, fuck Donald Trump. And that's beautiful.
Had always been considered this located these to recover. Pelted by debris when the North Tower collapsed, 7 burned until late afternoon, allowing occupants to evacuate to safety.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it.
Now let me explain that. Because people play this video over and over again and say, aha, he gave the order to demolish the building. Well, yes, that's exactly what the case is. But it's not just so much that pulling it is the inter-industry term for demolishing a building. The context of what he says makes perfect sense of that being the case. You see, when a building is damaged to such an extent that you want to demolish it for safety reasons, that means that it would be risky to send people in to repair it. Okay? So imagine that. You're trying to make the decision, do I want to risk somebody's life going in to repair that building? Do I want to be liable for that? Or is the best thing to just, you know, light it up?
Thing to do is pull it. Maybe the smartest thing to do is. I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
World Trade Center, as the World Trade Center, but better. A little bit taller, a lot stronger, just plain better.
A lot of people ask, how is it possible that a Boeing plane would be able to destroy or 2 planes would be able to destroy the Twin Towers? Because they were constructed to withstand like a 707 attack.
Well, it's tremendous power and tremendous heat. And people were willing to die, and when they're willing to die and when they're willing to become kamikazes of a sense, there's very little you can do about it. I mean, the heat and the power, actually it was amazing that the initial jolts didn't jar the building as much as people would have thought. But the tremendous amounts of fuel that was dumped on the building and 1,600 degrees temperature, I guess that's probably more than anything could take, no matter what. Actually, it was amazing. Actually, it was amazing. Actually, it was amazing. What I want to see built is...
He got to see it. That thing he got to see. It was amazing. He got to see it.
The World Trade Center stronger and maybe a story taller. And that's what everybody wants. We should have the World Trade Center bigger and better.
Speaking as an out-of-towner, every time I play...
I've done just about, I guess, everything you can do in the world of real estate. And I see what's happening down there. It's a mess. And the developer is actually a friend of mine, but he didn't want to build this building either. If you look back at the records, I mean, when it was first foisted upon him, Larry Silverstein is a great guy. He's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. But he...
Well, will you lead a coalition to stop Governor Patel?
Look how young Chris looks.
Strong support for the Freedom Tower?
Well, there's not much of a role I can take. It all started when the New York Post called me and asked my opinion. And I'm the biggest developer in New York by far. I've done just about, I guess, everything you can do in the world of real estate. And I see what's happening down there. It's a mess. And the developer is actually a friend of mine, but he didn't want to build this building either. If you look back at the records, I mean, when it was first foisted upon him, Larry Silverstein is a great guy. He's a good guy. He's a friend of mine, but he didn't want to build this pile of junk. And it's a shame. It's really a shame. We have a great opportunity. And, you know, the terrorists win. If we build this job the way it is, the terrorists win. If we rebuild the World Trade Center, but a story taller and stronger, then we win. I mean, I don't want to have the terrorists win, Chris, and that's what's going to happen if we build this pile of junk.
Surrounded by them.
I'm really sorry I cough so much. It's what I do instead of most people sniffling. I cough. I cough and I hawk up a loogie instead of sniffling because I don't want to get a sinus infection. I'm very prone to sinus infection. Anyways. Where is my face? Oh, there's my face. I wanted to go ahead and put the fair use thing up there just because I was showing a lot of different ported videos here. Let me get this all back in place. Tell you what, man, like, that right there is approaching the level of stuff that even I want to just go like, la la la, it's not true, I'm not listening, it's not true, don't let it be true. I mean, it was scary enough when Bush was implicated, but he was only really loosely implicated. You couldn't tie Bush to Silverstein. You couldn't. All you could do was be like, Bush was president, and like, you know, there were supposedly FEMA agents, and like, shit was weird. Something's being covered up. But there wasn't like clear connection to the foreign power with the connections to terrorism and connections to the propaganda that's making everyone, or trying to make everyone think that 9/11 was an inside job. But while YouTube will allow thousands and thousands, and these are reduced view count videos, okay, thousands and thousands, if not millions of views about our government being behind 9/11. That's all-time conspiracies. From 2 years ago, 254,000 views. Oh, for some reason that pro-Bernie video is showing up. Larry Silverstein. It says Trump-Silverstein friendship. That's my gerund. Okay? Gerunds are the terms that you use when you're trying to do a Boolean, which is what you call internet search. I'm an old basic computer guy. I use gerunds for a Boolean cube search. But you see, YouTube has had videos up that have had just ass tons of views, okay? And now, the ones that have the views are the ones that are like, oh, Trump's gonna drop a 9/11 truth bomb, right? And some of them have had their views drastically reduced too. Like, YouTube has been covering its own ass by reducing views of anti-American videos. Like, while it's been basically promoting these videos and making these people get paid very well for many years now, now it's like, I don't know if they're still like making the views and then they get deleted so that nobody knows how well viewed it was, or whether or not they're really just fucking these people up the ass because they're getting busted and they're worried about getting caught. But I have seen videos up here that I knew had millions of views chopped down to like 5,000, okay? And I knew it was the same channel, I knew it was the same video, and it was still from like, fucking 9 years ago, so I know it wasn't like, they deleted it and reposted it like some people do. "9/11 Truth Now." Russian Shill channel. Okay, that's a Russian fucking YouTube channel. And the reason why I know this is because of the consistent grammatical errors. Larry Silverstein knew. Oh wait, no, that isn't a grammar error. Well, there's plenty of grammar errors. That was a poor example. Fuck. I thought it was going to be new, like as in K-N-E-W. You see that kind of shit all the time. You see new spelled N-E-W. You see your spelled Y-O-U-R instead of Y-O-U-R-E. Yeah. Like, I don't even feel the need to be picky about the apostrophe, but fucking put the E on the end of it so that you know the structure of the words that you're saying, like, indicate to me that you have just basic intelligence. That's why, I don't always use the apostrophe because I'm fucking lazy, and you gotta like do extra stuff with the keyboard for the apostrophe. But dude, just E, like with new, just a K. You know why we have these different peculiar things about languages in the world in general? Do you know why? Historically, since ancient times, so that you could fucking find spies, so that foreign people couldn't bullshit you and propagandize you. But, we want to have hooked on phonics and get taught ebonics or whatever, and then start typing in fucking little, all these little, like, my brain just fucking, You know how extensive their reach is into our culture? You know how kids these days have gotten the laughing my ass off thing to a whole new, like they type little acronyms for every little fucking thing? Russian trolls started that shit. You know why? Because they can't fucking spell. So now we got our kids doing this shit. And their spelling ability is actually being degraded by this. But if you can't realize that things that sound like it might be just a crazy person talking are actually strategically correct actions for an enemy to take, then there's not much hope for you, there's not much hope for America, there's not much hope for the world. I want what I just said to sound silly. I acknowledge how silly it should sound. But it's still fucking true, whether I like it or not. Whether you like it or not. Whether or not the idea of them being that much smarter and capable of planning than we are is just too uncomfortable for you to even face. Just like the fact that Donald Trump's friends with Mr. 9/11 is an inside job and the guy who was inside on 9/11. I mean, even Dick Cheney with his fucking F-16 phone call isn't as obviously implicated as Larry Silverstein, almost said Larry Flint, as Larry Silverstein with this fucking insurance scam. But even Larry Silverstein's implications don't make sense until you factor in Donald Trump and Donald Trump's connections to Alex Jones and Russia, and Russia's connections to the Taliban. Because remember, kids, despite what you've been taught on fucking TV, the Taliban was never created or assisted by the CIA. If you didn't know that, don't tell me anything else I'm saying isn't true. And I know 99% of TV reporters who hate fake news and think that they are on the side of facts aren't aware of that fact. And even they need to repent. Of themselves and to the people that trust them, so that we can all figure out a way forward together. Only then can we be stronger. Together we stand, divided we fall. Roger Waters, nice man, did a lot of drugs, went insane, very sad. Anyways, thanks for joining me, y'all. Hope y'all found this informative. And I'm going to leave you with a big diagram that you may or not be able to read. Oh, I have it in 854 by 480, so if you have a big enough screen, maybe you can put that up and just see how everything ties together with this massive deception that has gone on over the course of, way too much of history. But anyways, thanks for joining me, thanks for hanging out. Please click the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Y'all take it easy, but don't take it all.
I'm hand. Oh, when I'm holding yours in mine and walking in the sand. Oh, baby, you know it's fine. Oh, now you done and piss me off. You ain't done something you shouldn't have done. And baby, I'm mad. I'm going on.